Well, if you clicked on the video, then you know, then of course, well, I died again, and that's unfortunate. And yes, it was as stupid as the last time I died. And if you have been watching these, then you know, instead of like deleting the world like you typically would in a hardcore world, I just like start over in the same world. That way, a lot of little buildings pop up, and it's really nice. Well, not exactly the dying part. As of right now, though, I'm actually better off than I was the other time I died, because in between when I was filming, everybody online was making a community center, which is right over there. And it has pretty much some good necessities. It's filled with, as you could see from here, villagers. I was filming there, but I died while I was heading back from it, so I decided just to start from scratch. Well, there it is. It's literally just a pile of villagers, but it helps get some of the basics like diamond pickaxes. But really, so first things first, I need to establish some trades for the community center and get me some better items, because I don't feel like grinding out for diamonds again, because we all know how much of a pain that was. Thank you. That will make some nice trade that will work out for now. And so that's pretty much all I need the center for, at least for right now. I'll get some food from here later. But yes, this is kind of cheating in hardcore rules, because obviously if you're starting in a new world, you wouldn't be able to just find a horde of villagers with really good trades. But, I mean, cut me some slack. It's a lot. So, I have been gathering for just like a couple seconds, really. And I've got like at least some food to last me a little while, but I think once I get some coal and iron, I should go back there and just get me a little bit more food just to start me off. Because, believe me, it's not fun starting over in Minecraft Hardcore 3 times. And I know it's my fault in the end, but like, you know, this just makes it easier. And, quicker, I guess, because I don't think you want to watch me do starter bases forever, so I'm just gonna finish up this and then keep going. Alright, as you can see, we're back at spawn, and the reason I chose here is because this was kind of like the first community center, and so this is kind of where we had a lot of coal, a lot of iron already smelting, just for anyone who wants it. I'm not going to take all of it, because there are other people in this world, and don't want to steal from them, so I'm only going to take like a quarter of the iron that was here. But the rest of it is my iron that I already got. Prior to getting here, as usual, I went mining for about 15 minutes, and being that the seed is so good, I got a lot. So, what I'm thinking of doing for this starter base to make things, I guess, a bit more festive, because if you're not watching this, like, in time, on the time it comes out, then it won't make any sense, but Halloween is coming up very soon. It's a matter of weeks. So what I'm going to be building for my starter base is a haunted house. For this haunted house, I'm going to need several blocks, including dripstone, as many different kinds of wood as I could get, and just stuff in that general like pattern. So I'm going to start gathering those once my iron is smelted, and I'm really well off for being on quote-unquote early game because of the villagers and the fact that they sell everything I need. So I'm going to keep smelting this, maybe stop by the village one more time, and then I'll be off to gather resources. I've went on a bit of a resource gathering spree, and it went pretty well. I mean, this is what I gathered. As you can see, I got a couple different types of woods, and some dripstone blocks, some dripstone, and more importantly, a lot of terracotta. So I actually have a pretty good plan for what I'm going to do with all of this. I just need to find a just nice flat piece of land that I could build it on. And I have been debating a bit, and I think I may have found where I want to place it. So I'm going to go thin that out and terraform it so that it is just a better place to place the building. That was a lot of place. And I'll be back then. Alright, I've gathered some of the necessary starter materials for this house, and I'm going to start probably around right here and just start building now. Okay, so all the building is finished, and this is what I've come up with. So, I mean, it's not completely finished. I guess that was a bit of an exaggeration, but it's on its way there. As you can see, I kind of like it's kind of wonky. It's frankly really, really ugly, but I intended it to be like that. So, there's not much inside just because I have been building for like an hour or so, and I want a little break before I do the interior. So I got a little workbench. There's some support beams. Same thing on this floor, just minus any sort of functionality. And then this is where I started to get really lazy and even forgot to put in a floor. And then of course we just have a little room in this balcony. Down there is eventually going to turn it into some sort of storage room or something like that. But as of right now, I'm just too lazy to do anything with that. And then other than that, we got a small little pen which had trapdoors right here, but that's just because I kept falling in it and got tired of breaking the blocks. But other than that, it's been pretty good. The only thing I'm missing is something to go on the top on that little white part over there, and then obviously the interior. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. So while I've been doing this, I have been coming up with a plan for what I'm going to do next. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come up with a little mini game to play with everyone else here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple jack-o'-lanterns, and then like whoever wants to play has to hide the jack-o'-lanterns in their bases, and then whoever finds the most jack-o'-lanterns or has the most jack-o'-lanterns wins. So I think that'd be a fun little game. So I actually need to grow a bit more jack-o'-lanterns, and then I'll get started on that. So quite a bit has happened since I last recorded a clip, and so the most important and significant thing is probably I found a deep dark. Oh boy. This is probably not good. And I actually got quite a bit out of it. Like if you look, I got a really good diamond hoe and also some nice leggings. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually do a bit of redstone, which is kind of a rare occurrence for me. And also, oh, I forgot to mention this, I also got a fully fledged enchantment table, which is really nice. But I'm going to do some redstone, and I've already got a little area prepared for it. So basically I'm going to have a melon farm on this side and a sugarcane farm on this side, and they're just going to be very simple designs that I've seen done multiple times. So the first thing I gotta do is actually get some melon and pumpkin seeds. I have the beginning of the pumpkin farm, and it's gonna come out pretty good. I mean, so basically the idea is that I plant this here. Well, first let me bone meal it. So essentially what's going to happen is the pistons are going to go off due to the fact that there is going to be a pumpkin growing there, and that's going to disturb the observer. And so basically what's going to happen is this is going to fire off, destroying the pumpkin and launching it into some sort of collection system, which I'll build fairly soon. So I'm going to keep building different models of this, and it should be good. Okay, it turns out you don't need to be a genius to do redstone, you just have to have way too much time on your hands. But this is the finished farm, so basically every time one of these connects to a pumpkin, it completely, like, it knocks over everything. One of the pistons fire, essentially, and it knocks out the pumpkin. There is no collection system yet, so I will probably be working on that now. I mean, ooh, how could this even work? Because the hard part is the trajectory of the pumpkin. Because if it's broken by a piston, it should launch about one block. Okay, presumably it will drop, so I am going to put some sort of water stream collection system probably. And so I'll get that into place now.
One eternity later.
Okay, so this is the pumpkin farm. It came out pretty nice. I mean, aside from the fact that it's hideous, it's working. So basically how it works is the observer is watching that plant. When a pumpkin grows, the plant moves to attach itself to the pumpkin, and the observers fire off the pistons, which then push the plant or the pumpkin off the railing, launching it into the water stream, which brings it into this barrel. That was a lot. It's really simple redstone, but I can't do redstone, so it took me forever to get this going. But now that it's done, it is going to be earning me passive pumpkins while I'm at my house, because if you look up here, it's literally right under my house. And it is nighttime, so I'm going to go to bed. So the next thing I want to be working on is a sugarcane farm, just because it's probably the wisest thing to make right now, because I've been struggling with sugarcane, and that's what I'm going to work on now. Okay, so this is the sugarcane farm. I mean, it was pretty pricey for what it is. So essentially, I'm sure you've seen this. It's just sugarcane grows, hits the observer, knocks it out. The pistons knock out the whole row, and there's some light above there to keep it growing. Something that was surprising me was that the pumpkin farm was working really well the whole time. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna AFK here for like 30 minutes and see how much materials I get of both. Okay, so this is the chicken farm. If you're expecting a lot of redstone, it's not. It's just some chickens in a box laying eggs, and then the eggs end up in the hopper. That's it. And then luckily the sugarcane farm has been working good. I repaired it. As you can see, it's been collecting sugarcane pretty ideally now. And of course, the pumpkin farm's been working the best out of all of them. It's surprisingly fast ever since I fixed the top row and the bottom row, and it's just turning out nice. So actually, I do have something I want to do with these pumpkins, because I don't know if you remember, but I said I wanted to make a bit of a Halloween themed game. Well, I still do, so I'm gonna do, oops, don't. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn all these pumpkins into jack-o'-lanterns, and I'm gonna spread them around for people to hide. And I think it'll be pretty fun. Before I started the pumpkin game, I actually decided to add a bit of decor inside just to make sure that it's easier, basically, to hide everything. And it's pretty simple. It's just some tough walls, a little maintenance room so I could still access my redstone, which is as ugly and terrible as ever, and just some better collection systems and lighting. But I think it's about time I started hiding these pumpkins, and I actually have a few spots to start off with. Like, for example, I don't know if you noticed, but the lighting is by Shroomlight. It's gonna bug me. It's fine, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace a jack-o'-lantern. Wait, where'd my Shroomlight go? I'm gonna replace one of the Shroomlights with a jack-o'-lantern, right? And stuff like that. I'm just trying to collect my Shroomlight, which looks like it got lost forever, but I'm a-okay with that. So obviously it's pretty noticeable, but like, it's not that bad. Another thing is I'm gonna have some like copper piping going through here, and it's gonna connect to like a pumpkin that's being like absorbed, I guess, and that's gonna be, of course, a jack-o'-lantern. Alright, so you gotta remember that it's just a simple redstone room, so it's not supposed to be too pretty. So the next pumpkin I'm thinking of hiding somewhere in here, and I'm trying not to do the same trick multiple times. So I'm trying to just put it in places that aren't noticeable, but just like still aren't repetitive. So I think I might have found my next spot if I can get over the chicken enclosure. So what's gonna happen is the pumpkin, this one's not gonna be found. The pumpkin is gonna be hiding. I don't want to interrupt my farm either, so it's gonna be hiding right there. So that's going to be the end of the farms in this area. They have to be accessible, so I'm going to have to leave that as a kind of staircase. So next, I'm going to move, obviously, to my upper base, so like around here. And I think I have a fun design for one of the easier pumpkins, so let me go get that sorted out. Okay, so I've finished hiding all my pumpkins. Like, as you can see, there's this guy, he kind of looks like a scarecrow. And there's one in that tower, there's one behind the building, I think there's one right around here, and they're kind of just hidden all over the house. Some of their spots aren't too good, so it's not worth showing. But the good news is I am able to produce pumpkin pie now, because all of these are automatic and they're working quite well. The only one that's a little slow is the sugarcane farm, but the reason is because sugarcane doesn't grow too fast. So other than that, we are actually doing great. So the next thing I want to do is probably either set up an XP farm or finish up the community center, because it's not doing too good. Well, I ended up doing neither. Well, some grinding later, I was able to obtain 3 zombie villagers, which I have some very specific jobs for down there. As you can see, we're gonna have a cleric, a whatchamacallit, and a whatchamacallit. So basically, the next step for me is essentially just to bait these guys to myself. so that I can cure all of them, because right now this is really the only guy who's out of range. So this was actually a very stressful process because for some reason the villagers wouldn't cooperate this time. Which is kind of weird because usually they do for me, like, pretty well. So what is wrong here? As you can see, this is flying south. Very bad. Okay. Doesn't help that I'm moving at literally like 2 frames per second. Okay, I'm gonna leave these guys to cure. It's a shame about the third guy, but there's not much that can be done about him. So I'm just gonna kind of empty my inventory out and put my trapdoor back and try to fix up my base because it's kind of been ruined. I got my villagers all sorted out and now I have full, well, almost full diamond armor. But my inventory is getting a little crowded and there's so much of this stuff. I think I'm just gonna have to toast. Oh, don't want to do that. I'm just gonna have to get rid of all of this and just. Oh, this feels so wrong. They're all enchanted diamond leggings, and really good ones too. But I have to. There was just too much stuff, and it's about to be nighttime, so I have to be careful. Because even though I'm in full diamond, I tend to make very stupid mistakes, and I often pay for it. Well, anyways, I got their setup all done, and it looks good. They're sitting on double carpet, so there's less lag, and it's pretty good. I mean, I haven't been lagging as much as I was, so that's nice. Oh, I gotta hurry and toast this before it lights my house on fire and monsters start spawning. So I'm gonna go to sleep, and I guess the next thing I want to do is, because I have this armor, but it's kind of useless because I have no XP, so I can't enchant it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna find a spawner. I did find one earlier, but unfortunately it's a spider, and I don't know how to make spider spawners, so I'm just gonna make a good old zombie spawner or skeleton, and hopefully find one of those. Okay, I found a spawner, and I'm doing pretty good. I mean, off camera, I decided to establish a means of getting up and down. So it's just a very long water elevator up to here. And then to get down, you just drop down a waterfall, which scares me every time I do it, because I feel like I'm going to hit the block or something. Well, anyways, the spawner's all lit up. It's a zombie spawner. I was hoping for skeleton, but I understand this is probably the best I'm going to get. And I can't tell if this is because I'm lazy or because I'm not, but I kind of not want to use somebody else's spawner model and just try to make one from scratch, which is probably a bad idea, but I'm going to try it anyways. So I'm going to get started on this, I guess. So the zombie farm is finished and it's right down there. It's not the best model I've ever made, especially since I kind of like messed up when it came to making the bubble elevator. But here it is. So actually there were a lot more in here, but I accidentally reset the chunk. Also is getting really annoying. And so basically these guys, there is no collection system because I figured like you don't really need zombie parts that much. If I want to, I could go in there and grab them just like this. But essentially it's the spawners down there. The zombies get baited by the player, which they could sense from pretty far away because of their long just detection radius, and then they hop down into here where they get absolutely destroyed. And holy, that's working a lot better than I thought because I have looting. Well, that's essentially it. As you can see, I farmed it for a little bit, but what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the room look better now, because it doesn't look that good. I kind of just made it. I dug a big old hole and then figured I was done. So for the interior for this like little farming XP area, I decided to go pretty basic. It's just some dark oak mixed with some birch and a little bit of dark oak slabs on the roof. I have been AFKing this, well, not AFKing, but like just using it as I've been like working on it. And I mean, it's not the best farm when it comes to getting XP. Like my blaze farm was way more efficient than this one, but I have been able to get myself a max enchanted pickaxe, so that's really good. And yeah, it's been generally going well. I don't think I have any particular issues with this one, other than the fact that it doesn't work as well if I'm not standing in the area that I marked out with cobblestone. But other than that, it's working pretty well using my zombie farm, and it went pretty badly actually. I do have a silk touch and fortune pickaxe and some boots, but other than that, I am not well off because even the boots are pretty bad. All I have is feather falling 4. For some reason, the enchanter just doesn't want to work for me today. But during this, I kind of got bored of using zombies as an XP source, so what I did was I went caving. I went mining for various different resources with like a night vision potion, and it went really well to my surprise. Like over here is my chest, and as you can see, of coal, I have ridiculous amount, redstone as well, and then same goes for like I guess iron and maybe copper. So what I'm gonna do is instead of keeping all my resources in like a hoarded, like in a chest hoard, I'm gonna add an addition to the base. But what it's gonna be is it's gonna be like a long glass tube that I'm just gonna throw all my ore blocks into because I don't really use all of these. They're kind of just sitting there as kind of a flex right now. So I'm gonna go get the materials to start on that. This is the poorly terraformed platform I have to work with right now. So I decided to change it up, and instead of doing one tube holding everything I own, I decided to make multiple for each kind of resource. So the problem I'm having right now is just the shape. So I'm thinking I could do something like this so that I have a shape kind of like... Wait a minute. I have a feeling... Oh, wait, no. Like that. I think that might work for what I'm going for. I just don't know. Actually, I think that'll be good. So I'll give you like a little show of what's gonna happen with the little plan here. So basically, a little trick I've seen just through various ways to build is every other block could be, or my like, basically every other block is a I cannot think right now. A glass pane. So essentially, you're gonna end up with something like, if I could craft like this. So this might not be the best example just because of placement. Yeah, this might not work actually. Something like this. I wonder if this will make it better. Let's look at this. So essentially, you're gonna put a pane here and here. So basically, it's gonna be a tube that goes like this all the way around, all the way up, and then it'll basically just finish off. So I'm gonna get working on these. So while I was building this, something interesting happened. So, as you know, I had the little jack-o'-lantern game going, and the only other person on this world right now, well, I don't think they're on anymore, was my dad. And he, I think, as far as I know, just hid all his jack-o'-lanterns, and so I'm actually gonna go and try to find them all now. Alright, so this is his base, and it's actually looking really good right now. So basically, I just have to look around here and find all the jack-o'-lanterns he hid just around here, and obviously they look like that. There's one, here's another. Okay, these were pretty... Oh, there might be one in here actually. Yep, it was actually pretty good. I have not played a game like this in a while. Did I just... Okay, that's a composter. I thought that was one. Okay, let's see. They have to be in his base, otherwise he's technically cheating, and it is sunset. Oh, it's a difficult one. I mean, I'm not supposed to break his base, but I don't want to make a mess here. So I'm actually just gonna borrow his bed real quick. And while I was sleeping, I found one of the last jack-o'-lanterns, I believe. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to get into that room right there. Let me see. There probably is a ladder. I'm just not seeing it. Okay. Oh, I think I found it. There's another one. That's 6. It's number 6 out of 8. Each player got 8. And so I don't see any more. I'm just going to give the house one last once over. Here's one. Unfortunately, I couldn't find all 8 of the jack-o'-lanterns. So I did find 7, so I hid them in my base for the time being. And as of right now, I am winning the jack-o'-lantern competition, and there is only about a week left in the competition. So I think while I'm waiting for anyone to try to hunt down all the jack-o'-lanterns in my base, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this monster of a project. So let the montage begin. Things turned out. From far away they look great. Unfortunately, the closer you get, the more the glass texture starts to kind of interfere. But I've already built them out and filled them all up to some degree. Like, as you can tell, some resources I have more than others. Like coal, I'm filled to the brim, plus I have a ton of coal in this chest. Whereas like, well, diamonds and emeralds and even copper I have almost none of. Well, I have none of. But I didn't put all my resources into all of these because I still need some just for everyday crafting and stuff. So I did leave some behind, but most of my raw materials went into here. But I really like the way these things turned out. Another benefit of these is I can also tell when I'm running low on something or which materials I need to work on. For example, I need to work on lapis, and then obviously diamonds and emeralds, and even copper really. So that's a nice benefit. But I think for now, that's all I'll be doing for today. Unfortunately, I just simply don't have enough time or, frankly, energy to keep going on this path. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and please have a great rest of your day.